Yo, if I ask you the question, what is the reason you live for? Is it because you chasing the P? We're gonna find out, but listen to this intro and we're gonna come right back to you. Don't go anywhere. All right.
Stay faithful, my friend. Stay faithful, my friend. Faithful, my friend.
What's going on, everybody? Y'all know who this is. Michael T. Johnson the second here with Faithful and Fresh. Give me 1 second as I get all this together. Whether you are on YouTube, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever you are at, as you already know, drop something in the comments. Let me know where you from. For some reason, it seems like, hey, Ma, how you doing? What's happening? Let's see if I can get these lights working right. Seems like it's not. Let's try that. There we go. For some reason, these green lights ain't right. Let's go with it. Time is of the essence. Happy, is it what, St. Patty's Day, St. Patrick's Day? I do not know the significance of that, but I do know the significance of this. All right. And whether you are sober, tipsy, drunk, and you hear Thank you. I appreciate you sliding through and hanging out. I wanted to talk about this. It had been a little minute since I had been on, but I wanted to get on here and hopefully help y'all out. Yeah, my license is not registering right. There we go. All right, now I feel better about that. Hopefully the audio is sounding good, man. It is so crazy. It's so much stuff that happens inside of me doing the beginning and the hook and then turn off the lights and all that stuff. But either way, we got a sandalwood candle. It's sandalwood, got a little bit of amber in it, and the fragrance of the day. I left the bottle at home, but it is Joe Malone, Tonka, and Myrrh. And I kind of went a little bit heavier on the scent today because the fact of the matter that here it got to be like 20 degrees in March, and it even snowed a little bit. But again, I appreciate y'all for sliding through. Let me check something real quick. Kaylee X, Nene, what's happening? Kaylee, I got your cake platter. But anyways, if you haven't seen the title, it is, let's talk about the power of your P. All right. Men and women both are chasing after the P. All right. And for whatever reason that you clicked on, maybe it's because you think that I'm about to talk about this. Maybe somebody else might think I'm talking about that. But either way, men and women are chasing after the P. Most of us don't think that life is worth living without the P. So you might be asking, what are you talking about when you talk about the P? So glad you asked. What we're talking about today is your purpose. All right. We are talking about your purpose. And inside of each and every one of our lives, we come to a place where some of us are looking for our purpose inside of a job. Maybe we're looking for it in a spouse. Maybe we're looking for it in our children. Maybe we're looking for it even in our religion. Some of us are looking at it or looking for it in gyms or in friendships or in a hobby. Whatever the thing is that you're looking for the P, I want to be able to dive into this today and talk about what I believe can help you find your purpose, or I can let you know what your purpose is. I don't care who's watching. I can tell you what your purpose is. And I can tell you another element, although most people think that they're looking for their purpose, what they're really looking for is this, which I'll talk about in a minute. All right. So the reason why this is important, for whatever reason why you live, I believe that life is only worth living if you as an individual understand that you have purpose. All right. It took me about 19 years to find out what my purpose was. I actually found it in a place that I didn't think that I was going to find it. I don't know if any of y'all are like that, where you've ever found out what your purpose is inside of a unlikely situation, scenario, or place. But that's what happened to me. And let me just give you a little bit of how I came about finding my purpose. And then as time progressed, how I learned not only what my purpose was, but what people's purpose was as every human individual. And a lot of people, because they do not understand what their purpose is, there is so many different what do I want to say, like elements or so many different emotional and mental things that happen, like depression and unhappiness and emptiness and loneliness and all of these things, because they haven't found what their purpose is. All right. So what happened for me? All right. What happened for me is that if you know my story, you know that a lot of the most beautiful aspects of my life were never really actually my idea. All right. And my parents, when I was a kid, made sure I went to church. All right. My dad was spearheading that project and I just was in church. Mom reinforced that, made sure I got out of bed, so forth and so on. So, hey, my relationship with God wasn't even really in the beginning my idea. I've grown to appreciate the relationship that I have in God, and it became more intimate as life continued on. Now, that wasn't just based off of time. That came from, obviously making myself available to him as he always has made himself available to me. But the next thing is that after I didn't graduate high school on time, what ended up happening was I graduated about what I would say later than the time I was supposed to. And I had a brother, my guy Tawan, he was going into barber school. And unbeknownst to him, when he was getting in there, he said that there was one last spot left. All right. And he called me, said, yo, bro, there's one last spot in barber school. I think it'd be a great thing for you to get into until you figure out what it is, that you want to do. But I'll show you everything I know. And then at this point, it'd be good for you to be able to make some money until you figure out what it is that you want to do. Boom. So I go ahead and I do this thing. Now, it wasn't as fluid as I'm trying to skip over it. I did some paperwork. I did a couple things. I played around. And when I say play around, I just wasn't, doing it at a rapid pace, meaning the background checks, the fingerprints, and all the other stuff. And so, again, my brother had to just push me a little bit more. And here it is. He picked me up. We go do a couple of the things. He picks me up in the car and put it like that. And then we drive and we do some stuff. Here it is. I go into barber school, right? Now, barber school at this point, being a barber was never what I thought was going to be my purpose. And just for some clarity, it still isn't. All right. And what I found out is that a lot of times my first experience with trying to figure out the power of the P, or where I was going to find that from, I've witnessed and experienced that in high school. Only to think that I was thinking that I was the only one that ever had this issue. I don't know what my purpose is. Where am I, and I was thinking that my purpose in this case was what I was doing. And so I didn't want to go to college and do certain things because I kind of was of the mindset that this isn't really my purpose and that ain't my purpose. And I kept saying all of these things. And so what ended up happening was, obviously I didn't finish my commitment with high school. Now, I go to barber school, and because at this point, I'm kind of like, okay, you know what? I kind of got the whole Friday scene where I'm like, I ain't got nothing else to do. All right. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just go to barber school. And so I go into barber school, and inside of barber school, I end up coming across my purpose. Now, in the time that I found out what my purpose was, it really wasn't a earth-shattering thing at this point. All right. I really didn't even understand the moment when it happened. And what really ultimately happened was I was standing up talking, and I was talking to some clients, and it was this guy that grew up he was an older gentleman that lived in my neighborhood, that his children had went to the same schools that I had went to, elementary, middle school, and high school. And I never knew him, but he lived really a block behind me. And we were just talking. And for some odd reason, when I got done talking to him, it just hit me what my purpose was. And as I was talking to him, I realized God let me know that people were my purpose. And I kind of was like, at this point, I'm 19 years old. So it really wasn't earth shattering. I really didn't even know all the way what it meant. But I knew from that moment that I had something that anchored me a little bit. It was something that even if I didn't follow what my purpose was, that I at least knew what it was. I was accountable at that point. And what I realized is that I always kind of thought I was natural with people. And so because I've been in church all my life, my grandfather pastor and my uncle is our pastor now, and my dad was a minister. I always have been in church, and my family is pretty warm. They, really inviting, generous, so forth and so on. Just like if you could pretty much imagine, I'm probably might be the most jankiest out of my family, but my family is amazing. And here it is, man. You're right. We never know what God got in store for us. And so what ends up happening is I started kind of thinking like, you know what? I never really had a problem, having conversations with anybody. I never, if I seen somebody out and we made eye contact, I'm say, hey, how you doing? Or, if I'm gonna hold a door or whatever. That was just kind of seeming like it was natural. As time progressed, I realized that was nurtured. Now, there are some gifts that I believe that God has given me, or a gift that God has given me that helps me to take what might be manners and politeness and mold that into, kind of like a mix it with this gift, so to speak, And as life was going on, I started realizing more and more, man, I do have kind of a knack for connecting with people. And I went into insurance, then I did real estate, then I got an education. And education gave me this opportunity to really connect with a group of people at one time. At the barbershop, you get somebody that sits in your chair, or if you're in a beauty shop, or if you're in some type of service-based industry, you're a nail technician or something of that sort. You know what I mean when it's kind of like it's one by one. And I always enjoyed having conversations with people, listening to them, talking to them, giving them advice, learning advice, all these different things. And what ended up happening was when I got in school, when I got to teaching opportunity, shout out to my boy Dale Sharp the third. When we get into this classroom, and here it is, I'm talking. And we're talking about barbering, but then we're talking about life. And then I'm starting to see it's clicking to these students that I have. And then not only is it clicking to them, I'm starting to realize, because I'm talking to them about my journey, mindset, some elements of faith, and certain faith principles that I'm learning. And at this point, I'm starting to realize that they're in the same spot that I once was. They're in a spot where they're trying to figure out the power of their P, but finding out first, do they even got the P? Do they have a P? All right, do they have a purpose? What's their purpose? How do they continue to what's the word I want to say? Like blossom inside of their purpose. And then it starts to click to me as I'm teaching, week after week, month after month, year after year, that not only am I teaching them through barbering what their purpose is and how God used barbering to save my life, not in a physical way necessarily, but on a practical level. And this is where you come in. All right. Whether you believe it or not. Now, this is a two-step. I like two steps. I ain't really too big of a dancer. You know what I'm saying? I ain't big with that dancing, but I do enjoy a nice two-step. And the two-step to what your purpose is, whether you agree with it or not, is this. Your first purpose, or your only purpose, is it has a two-step to this. Your purpose is to serve. All right? Your purpose is to serve. Boom. Now you can go through the rest of your life. If you didn't know, you can go through the rest of your life confident that you know your purpose. Now, let's just say, for an instance, you just still need some more clarity. And you say, who am I supposed to serve? My goodness. I'm happy you asked. There are two elements to your service. The first element, whether you agree with it or not, the first component of your service is God. All right. And I want to highlight this because I have these two parts, but I have two parts to the two parts, if this makes sense. It will in a second. Now, Your first duty is to serve God. All right. And what I would like to illustrate is that this will be what I like to call your vertical relationship, your vertical service. All right. God, you. This is your vertical road, if you will, or pathway in your first priority into serving. All right. Now, if you want to argue about if God is real and all this stuff, we can do that on a different video or a different live. All right. So this is the vertical. This is you and this is God. That is your first priority. Now, from that service towards him, you will have a horizontal part. This is the second part. The horizontal part is you serving people. All right. So at this point, you can see that this makes this cross. It's you, God, you, people. Now, notice that in this horizontal, it's you and people. Y'all are on the same level. All right. The only person that's above you and people is God. So you must first understand that here it is that when you want to find out what your purpose is, and you want to find out what the power of it is, it's first understanding that your priority first is to him, your service to him, and then from you to people. Now, if you're like me, and if you ever have dealt with selfishness, what you're going to realize is this. There's going to be a part of you that says, well, you didn't say this third person. Now, just to kind of fill you in, because maybe you don't know who I'm talking about when I say the third person. The third person that I'm not going to put on this list is you were not created to serve yourself. All right? You were not put on this earth to serve yourself. Now, that doesn't mean that I haven't tried to. It doesn't mean that I still find myself making the mistake of doing it now. But what I can say is this. Again, as I said before, it was not my idea. A lot of the best stuff, serving somebody else, serving God, oh man, I'd rather just serve myself. That usually is the way that we handle life. And because of that, the depression, poverty, and all of the other things that come from that type of mindset will come. But if you identify, one, that your purpose is to serve God and people, not you, God and people. Now, this vertical relationship between you and God, the service and the priority that you put him in, will take care of you. All right. That relationship between you and God, he will make sure that your needs are taken care of. And the reason why this is important is because when you, let me stop right here. Do not get stuck on the first priority. I didn't have this in my notes because I started to write some notes. And if you can see right here, I started to write some stuff and then time started ticking and I just said, you know what? So really, I don't even need that. But do not get stuck on the first priority. What does that mean? Do not get stuck trying to only serve God, thinking that the second priority is not a priority. All right. You can try it, but you will find out that it is not beneficial. You will find out that it's not salubrious to you to make sure that you own, or to not say to make sure, but to try to isolate your service just to God. You might be in a choir. You might play an instrument. You might be a pew member. You might be a pastor. You might be an usher. And you might think the only thing that matters is just my relationship with God. God requires more of you. There are plenty of biblical scriptures that you will find that where Jesus is not only about his relationship to the Father, it's also about making sure that the sheep are fed. All right. Peter goes and denies Jesus when Jesus is going to be crucified. Here it is. Jesus tells Peter that he's going to deny him. Peter doesn't want to accept that. Well, guess what? Peter ends up denying Christ and goes off. And Jesus asks Peter, Peter, do you love me? Peter says, Lord, you know I love you. And then he says, feed my sheep. All right. Your love, you cannot be selfish with your love to think that you can only love God and hate his people. God is going to require each and every one of us that if you serve him and you make him a priority, that he's going to say this, hey, me personally, I don't need your money. I don't need you to do the job that I gave you. I don't need you to carry out the purpose that I gave you. If you don't, it's okay. I'm not in a lack. I don't need you to give me money so I can pay my electric bill. I don't need you to give me money so that I can make sure that I can buy things. God is good. He's good. All right. But what God is going to say is that my child over here needs something. My daughter over there needs something. My son right there, he needs something. This poor person needs that. This rich person needs this type of love. This atheist needs this type of witness. This person over here needs to hear your testimony. This person over here is grieving. They need your shoulder to cry on. God will not allow you to be selfish and give him all of the attention and you say, you're not going to have anything to do with people. So again, do not get stuck making one of these two priority, because even if you are trying to stick with only, hey, God knows I love him, I'm going to just keep working in my ministries. Wait. You can't even take you carrying out your purpose with people and even make that the priority over him. All right. I think my TV just went off. Oh. Now, what does that look like? Yeah, you're in church. Yeah, you in a ministry, but God is not going to allow you to just take the ministry and just work that. And then when it comes to, you give food. Yeah, you give tithes. Yeah, you play an instrument. Yeah, you're an usher. Yeah, you do this. But even though you do this in church, that don't give you the right to isolate God out to say that because I done served the people, God, I'm good with you. I ain't got to worry about it. No, he still is going to require something of you too. He still does require your service. He don't need it. He doesn't need me. He don't need you. But he still requires something of us. All right. If we are going to be his children, he requires us to be obedient. And because he loves you, because he loves me, he wants to be able to have time to commune with you. All right. So at this point, you now see that your purpose is to serve. Serve who? God and people. Now, what most people are, I hope that this is this is helping y'all. So at this point, what people are really looking for isn't their purpose. Because watch this. I've just told you what your purpose is. Now, you might not agree with it. It doesn't matter if you agree with it, because it is that. All right. Life is sweeter when you're serving. Now, the thing about this is a saying that I've heard, and I've made this a part of my life, and it is to serve your needs by serving the needs of others. And what happens is that a lot of times what happens is we want to sacrifice our service to other people and not do it, or I should say, just give it away. We want to delete our purpose because we think that when we're serving people, this person asked me for some food and I gave them food and then they didn't give me any food back. I gave this person some money and then they didn't give me any money back. I sat there and forgave this person, but this person didn't forgive me back. And we're looking for this conditional, reciprocal type of service. And guess what? It's very rarely going to happen like that. Very rarely in your life will you find out that somebody will equivocally give you the service that you gave to them. It's usually not going to happen. All right. This is a part of where the strong bear the infirmities of the weak. Sometimes you're going to bear the problems of those that are weaker than you. But trust, your strength didn't come from you. Your strength comes from God. And if you can continue to know that if your vertical relationship is right with God, yo, it don't matter what you try to do to me. I can serve you and you might try to take advantage of my service towards you. But guess what? I'm good because the vertical relationship, that's what matters the most. That matters because I know that he can bless me in ways that this person could never bless me. All right. And so this is very, very important. But let me tell you what it is that you're looking for. You're not really looking for purpose. What you're really looking for is a bridge. All right. You're looking for a bridge that connects you to people. And that's why I said God used barbering. See, I could have had the heart to want to serve people, but then I would have to find out in what capacity. All right. Now, the capacity that I work in serving is not the purpose itself. All right. Being a barber is not my purpose. That's a capacity in which I serve in. So if you work at McDonald's, that might not be, let me say it like, for somebody, it might be their bridge. But maybe you're working at McDonald's. And maybe that is the bridge right now for you where that connects you to people. Carry out your purpose inside of that bridge. If you're working at Amazon, that might be the way that you connect to people right now. Maybe you work a food pantry. Maybe you're in entrepreneurship. Maybe you do locks. Maybe you do fades. Maybe you do carpet. Maybe you do roofs. Whatever the thing is that connects you to people, whether it's one person that you're connected to or hundreds or millions, whatever it is, we are all really looking for that bridge. Inside of that bridge, we're trying to figure out how is it that we use our experiences and our gifts and our testimony to connect with somebody else. If you have not ever connected with somebody and you gave money or you gave your time, I urge you to do it and see how much fulfillment comes from that. See how it feels to be able to be generous with whatever it is that you can be generous with, whether it's service, whether it's time, whether it's your currencies, whatever it is, or just your attention, whatever the thing might be, I guarantee you that you will get a lot more from that. Now, let me just be honest with you with this. Let me go ahead and say this part right here. Don't restrict your service just to people that you like or love. All right. Do not horizontally isolate your service. You're like, hey, you know what? Man, my God, brother Michael T. Johnson II, man, he told me, hey, I'm going to serve God and I'm going to serve people. Well, the people I'm going to serve is I'm going to serve my mom. I'm going to serve my daddy. I'm going to serve my uncle. No. You can serve them too. But there is not as much profit, if any, to only serving those that you love and that love you too. When your vertical relationship with God is aligned, when it is fluid, when it is, and it has this depth of intimacy, what you will find out is you will go into a crowd of people that hate you and you will say, how may I serve you? They might try and take advantage of you. They might cuss you out, might want to spit on you. They might want to socially bully you, whatever the thing is. But I guarantee you, you'll be like, you know what? I will endure this. I will endure this because I know that God got me. I can tell you right now that there are battles that I've tried to fight on my own. I'm just going to be honest. There are battles that I have tried to fight on my own. And if I could be real transparent with you, there are battles in my life now that there are times where I try to fight it on my own. And sometimes it might not even be the full fight, but there are rounds throughout this fight that I try and say, God, I got it right here. Boom, I'm going to just do this. And it doesn't work out. Man, this is good. This is good. Your solution is in serving. Your solution is inside of service, not selfishness. And when you identify this and when you experience it, it won't take somebody to have to try to pull you into it. When you experience serving, if you were to be honest, you say, yo, I really was serving and I was doing this. God led me to do this and I did it. I guarantee you that you will find out that there is a sweetness to service. You will find out that there is something about when I think about leaving this earth and I take my last breath and I'm thinking about my life, it's not going to matter about how much money I made. It's not going to matter about how many haircuts I did that were good. It don't matter how many haircuts I taught to my students. It's going to matter about how I serve them as people. Not just something, not just an activity, but how this activity was flowed from my identity. And all the amenities that come from that is just what it is. But I can guarantee you that you will never go without by making sure that God is the priority in your service. And then secondarily, making sure that you serve people. Now, there is some favoritism that happens. There are some things that we like to do. There is some drinking that we like to do, some smoking, some partying that we like to do, some consumerism that we like to do. But if the only thing that's going to truly help you, I know that people don't want to believe this, and I know some people out here want to be the victim. But if you deal with anger, if you deal with bitterness, if you deal with selfishness, if you deal with depression or anxiety, the thing that I can tell you right now that is going to iron out a bunch of wrinkles in your life is to serve God and serve people. Yes, I know it's been times where you served people and they burnt you, they did you bad. I've been there too. But I can only point you back to God to just say this. Make sure that you and him are good. And you take your direction from him. Don't look for your bridge because somebody else they're connecting with people this way. That might not be the way that God wants you to connect with them. It can be a bigger scale. It can be a smaller scale. I can look at another person and say, yo, this person connects to people this way. You might see me do social media and say, you want to do social media. I'm not telling you not to. I'm not telling you to do it. But don't think that your bridge has to be what my bridge is. You might see on one side where people act like they like me or love me or whatever like that, but then you don't see the other side. You don't see how many times of how many times I've been there for somebody and that person might have been close to me and they're not there the same way. Now, do I still turn back to God? Do I give? Yeah, but it still hurts. And I know it's the same thing for you. You don't know all the times that I've lent out money and I've heard all these sob stories and I've heard people give me their best attitude and their best presentation. And when it's that date that they chose to pay back, they didn't. Do I give it to God? And I know that, hey, he's gave me money. I'm glad to be the lender. Yes. But do it still hurt? Yes. All right. So, but the thing that I always can hang on to is this, is that when my relationship when I'm close with God and we're locked in and he tells me to go do something, the only thing that I hold on to that gives me hope to keep going on is when I can say, you know what, he told me to do it. And he has my best intention. He has not just good intention, great intention, perfect intentions for me. And because of that, I'm willing to go that way. I'm willing to do it this way. I'm willing to become this person that can handle more service. Yes, maybe you might think that service is slavery. Maybe you think that because of the fact of the matter that you always see service as something that is inferior. It is not. It takes a strong person to serve people. And when you understand that your strength is only really going to be measured by the service that you give to people. I know men that think that their kids or their wife is the only people that they are to serve. They go to a job, they don't talk to nobody, they eat their lunch, they go in their lunch pail, grab their bologna sandwich, eat it, work, clock out, go home, and then that's when but let me tell you, that ain't it. God has more for you. You might think at points that God is pushing you to serve a person or people, and you think that you can't do it. But if you trust God, He will send you to the people that you need to serve. And I promise you, there's going to be a paycheck that is attached to it. That Ford, that Jeep, that a client, that the New York Stock Exchange. It's a paycheck attached to it that cannot measure to anything else in this world. What God has for you is going to be so much more greater than what it is that the world could give you. You might end up wanting it while you're down here. I ain't gonna lie. There's some times where I'm like, God, okay, cool. I could use that reward right now. It might not be that. But I promise you that it still will have its worth. All right. And so I challenge you to figure out, when you think about serving, this is your homework. When you think about serving and you think about a person that you can think about in your head that you think is the least deserving of your service, the challenge is that person that you're thinking about, see how you can serve that person. Yeah, they might have cussed you out. Yeah, they tried to get you fired. Yeah, they hate you. Yeah, they done tried to plot on you. But your homework is whoever that person is. It might even be somebody in your family. You might think, hey, my dad wasn't in my life, or my mom wasn't in my life. They don't deserve my service. That might be your growth point. And as challenging as it is a reward as just as I keep using this word, just as equal to that challenge. All right. With all battles is a blessing. With all blessings is a equivalent battle. And so inside of this, I hope that you not only listen to this as content, I hope that you looked at this as something that could practically help you throughout your journey, your servanthood. All right. And so if you need more of this, I'm probably going to do another video that's going to talk about how to be able to find out some of your natural skills and your gifting and use it and leverage it into whatever your bridge is. But until then, stay faithful, my friend. Peace.